Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Inner Circle. As you can see, or at least I'm really excited about today's review. Recently, Warner Brothers just released the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat movie, and I'm obviously a very big fan. So I thought it'd be a good idea to drag Clayton along this time to watch the original Mortal Kombat movie from 1990. Or was it? No, it was 95. It was 1995.
95.
Yeah. So, first impressions with Mortal Kombat.
So I went in knowing that it was a bad movie is what I've always been told.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it. It's not that bad. It's very average, but I had fun because it had some fun. It had fun action scenes, and it was 90s arcade Mortal Kombat, and I'm very confused on why I've been told my whole life it's a terrible movie.
Your whole life you've been told it's a terrible movie?
Yes, that's not a joke for a video or anything. Like people I know that have seen it my whole life have been, oh, dude, it's such a bad movie, man. Don't even watch it. It's not worth the time. But it's not even bad. It's fine. Like legitimately.
It's fine. Well, I guess another good follow-up question would be, what's your experience with the games?
Okay, so I played MK2, the arcade one,
mm-hmm.
a little bit. I've always sucked at it. I'm not good at most fighting games. The only fighting game I've ever been good at was Street Fighter, like Alpha 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the point. So yeah, I played Mortal Kombat 2 arcade. I played the Xbox 360 Mortal Kombat Revival. I think that was 10. Was it 10 or 9?
It was 9.
9?
Yeah.
Because I played 10 on the Xbox One, and I have played a little bit of 11, but I don't like 11.
You don't like 11?
No.
Interesting.
It's weird. I don't like it.
Wow, 11's my favorite. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, so my history of Mortal Kombat is I always knew of its existence.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about the movie, but I'd never seen it. The only game that I played in my childhood was Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly wasn't super into it because I didn't really know who all of the characters were, because Armageddon had a huge roster of 30 plus characters. And I remember when they announced MK9, like they were doing this whole reboot and they were starting to explain all the backstory, and I started to get really into it. So you could say I hopped on board the hype train. And I've been a fan ever since MK9 came out. I went back and I played all the classic arcade versions, and including 4,
Mm-hmm.
which is terrible.
Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe.
That one's also terrible.
That's the only one I knew about before I knew about Mortal Kombat.
Interesting. Okay. So you got into it through that game.
Kind of. And that's part of what introduced me to the very confusing and kind of, in my opinion, worthless lore that Mortal Kombat has, which is relevant to the movie, because the plot makes no sense in a way where the movie itself kind of disregards it, and I really appreciated that because I don't think the plot of Mortal Kombat as a franchise makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it's a very outlandish and convoluted plot when you look at like the broad surface level stuff. But at its core, what really makes Mortal Kombat interesting is the character backstories and obviously the fights. And the movie really understands that, and it delivers. Because like when the movie came out, MK1, MK2 were already a thing. Mm-hmm. They exploded. Like they were literally everything that 90s kids wanted in one package.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like it was so popular that people, like moms were angry. And they brought it up in like the government. People tried to censor Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But fortunately that didn't stop them, because when MK3 was coming out, it coincided with the release of the movie, which was, fun fact, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who we have to thank for the Resident Evil movies.
Thank. That's a very loose way to use the word thank.
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat is sort of what put him on the map, and is probably, other than maybe Event Horizon, his best movie.
Okay, you are correct. Mortal Kombat might be his second best movie. But let's get to the point. So the Mortal Kombat movie, it has like 5 main characters. It introduces everyone in like 3 minutes, and we get straight to a point. It shows everyone's personalities right off the bat. Johnny Cage, movie star, asshole. Boom, you're going to the tournament. And I really respect the movie for cutting any kind of filler and just getting to the point of what it's doing.
Yes, yeah. No, I appreciate it for that too. I think it does a really good job of getting all of the basic stuff out of the way really quick and getting to what you want to see. Like, we get to see, like, some of the best fights in, like, not even before the halfway point of the movie, so.
Okay. So if I'm rating this on an action scale, right? Mm-hmm. An action scale out of 10, I would give this like a 7, which is higher than I expected to because I've always been told it was bad, and it's not. So I'm wondering how would you rate as like a big Mortal Kombat fan, because Mortal Kombat's all about the gore and combos and fighting. Yeah. How would you rate the action in this movie?
Well, as far as PG-13 video game movies go, this is definitely the best one. In order for the movie to get the green light, the studio forced them to take out all the blood and gore so they could sell it to a broader audience, that PG-13 audience.
So do you think that hurt it? Because in my opinion, being more detached, I was fine with it. I still had fun watching it.
Well, that's what I mean, is like, despite the lack of blood and gore, it still tries very hard to be faithful to the game. Because, like, they put fatalities in there, just in, like, all the special moves. Like, Scorpion has his harpoon thing. Johnny Cage does his friendship. Liu Kang's got his fireballs, and he, like, does the stage fatality on Shang Tsung. So I appreciate stuff like that. And, at the end of the day, see, my favorite character is Scorpion. And getting to see Scorpion do all of his, they checked off all the things that he has to do. He has to show his skull. He has to shoot the harpoon. He has to go to the Netherrealm and fight Johnny Cage. If it just because of that one scene, I think this movie, on an action scale and out of like a faithfulness scale, 10 out of 10.
Because of the Scorpion fight? Okay, I would say my favorite fight in the movie that kind of sold it to me was the Goro versus, was it Liu Kang?
Right? Johnny Cage.
It was Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Johnny punches him in the balls.
Yes, it was Goro versus Johnny Cage.
Which, by the way, that animatronic is really good.
Yes, the animatronic Goro is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly was fun. It was fun to watch, which is like my thing with this whole movie. I thought it was a fun watch.
Yeah, and that's at the end of the day, that's what you want.
Yeah, because I did not expect anything deep because it's Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
I expected like some fun action and cool characters, and I feel like I got that, except for Sonia.
Yeah, Sonia was probably one of the weakest characters, but I feel like, little side note, in the production, they were originally going to get Cameron Diaz to play Sonia, but because she broke her arm during training, they had to recast at the last minute. And
you can tell the girl playing Sonia, bless her heart, if I'm going to be Southern, is really stiff.
Yeah, she's very stiff.
Really stiff.
But I mean, they have all the principal characters, and thank God for this movie, because they gave us the greatest theme song ever, Techno Syndrome by the Immortals, the Mortal Kombat theme.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, in the song, they list off all the characters that are in the original game and in this movie. Kano, Liu Kang, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Sonya. They're all there.
And it's very interesting that I knew, as a kid who wasn't that big in Mortal Kombat, I knew it, played a little bit of it. I know that song. I've known that song my whole life. Even before I knew it was from the movie, I'm like, the Mortal Kombat song.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange how that's like the piece of media that's outlived the film.
Timeless. Like, you could put that song on in any modern rave and people would start dancing, I guarantee you.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I feel kind of hollow because I don't have too much to say on the movie. I could say, like, if we're going to get in technicalities, the set design is really amazing.
Good. Yeah, it's awesome.
You can tell, okay, if you look at the cast and you look at the sets that they're standing on, you can tell where they put their money.
Mm-hmm.
The money went straight to the sets and props because, I mean...
For the most part, they shot, on location. Like a lot of the island shots and then temple shots that you see, that they actually went to real places in Asia to film those.
And I respect the work put into it to make this goofy little movie that people hate.
They were passionate about it, yeah. It deserves way more credit than it gets.
And that's part of what made me like it, is when you're watching it, you can feel that there's heart there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel soulless.
Unlike the sequel.
Yes, unlike the sequel.
Maybe we should save that for another video.
Maybe we'll touch on it when we review the new movie coming up.
That's a good idea. Let's save it for that. But let me ask you this: who is your favorite character in Mortal Kombat?
In the movie,
It could be in the movie, it could be in the games, whoever.
Okay, well, Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage?
That's my go-to pick.
Okay, well then don't you love that fight though with Scorpion where they're like in the woods and
Yes, no, I love it. The guy playing Johnny Cage in this movie is the highlight of the movie.
Oh, he's the best character.
And the fight with Scorpion was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like most fights, they were fun to watch, and I had a good time, and no one can take that away from me. I have had disagreements with people. I have messaged them after asking them why they told me never to watch this.
I'm glad we agree on this. Otherwise, we would have had problems. But yes, Mortal Kombat. Let's give it our general scores. What would you give this?
Okay, so acting kind of trash. Sets are really nice. The action's good. But it's Mortal Kombat. All I want are nice sets and good action. So I'd probably give it a, I don't know, about maybe a 6. It'd have to be an average. It'd have to be an average score.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. It's a 6 with a thumbs up.
That's fair. I would give this movie a solid 7.
A 7?
Yeah. I would give it a little bit more than a 6.
Jumping into good territory.
Well, it's because like when you factor in, at least for me, when you factor in that 90% of all video game movies are trash, and this
Shout out Blood Rain.
Shout out Blood Rain. We'll do another video on that.
No, I'm never watching that again.
We're gonna do this together. We're gonna get through it. But the fact that Mortal Kombat is as good as it is kind of a miracle. So it's a cut above just average for me.
That's fair.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this review. Go and watch Mortal Kombat. Play the games if you haven't. It's worth it. We'll see you next time on the next video.
Should we cut to the song?
Absolutely cut to the song.
Mortal Kombat!
Mortal Kombat!